My name is Brian Pillman Jr., and you are listening to In Your Head with Shannon Standiford.
Welcome to In Your Head with Shannon Standiford. I don't know why I did it that way. That was weird. Anyway, you're not going to want to miss this episode, especially if you're a mom or a parent, because in this episode, we talk to Rosie, who comes back as a guest host capacity, and we are talking to her mother, her amazing mother, Juanita, who opens up for the first time and talks about what it's like to be a parent of a chronically ill child. We talk about a whole bunch of other things. It was a labor of love. She was nervous coming into it. She'd never really done this kind of stuff. So this is for the first time public, like in a public forum like this. She's talking about what it's like being a mother and the struggles that she had. So you're not going to want to miss this. Let's have some fun with Juanita and Rosie.
In the quiet of the night where dreams take flight, voices whisper softly, shining like the stars so bright. Every heart has a story, don't you ever forget. Let's open our minds, share the journey, no regret. Here we gather, a circle of hope, sharing laughter and tears, we learn just how to cope. Every tale we tell, it helps to heal our souls. In the space of understanding, together we become whole. So let the words flow, let the music rise. In your head with Shannon, the stories come alive. Every heartbeat echoes where our spirits thrive. From fears to triumphs, we'll paint the skies anew. With this podcast journey, I'm here with you.
Well, welcome, ladies. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having us.
Nice to be here.
So, we've heard Rosie's story before, but this episode, after a conversation with Rosie, we decided that we wanted to get your perspective on everything that she's gone through and how it affected you. So,
Yeah.
if you don't mind, let's kind of get into it. When did you first start noticing that stuff was going on with your daughter?
Kind of looking back on it, and hindsight being 2020, there were signs when she was very young. A lot of different things. She had bronchitis a lot. Had a lot of problems with her breathing, which could have been the pulmonary hypertension stuff, you know. There was one incident where she was riding her bike. The other kids come around, oh, Rosie's hurt, Rosie's hurt. So I went running down there and was like, hey, what happened? She said, I fell asleep riding my bike. She was trying to explain to me that she'd passed out while riding her bike when she was, what, maybe 7, 8 years old?
If that.
Yeah, she was pretty small. So there was definitely signs there. I think the one that mainly stands out when she really got sick was the time she had a really bad migraine for like days and days and days. And we literally wheeled her into the emergency room in a wheelchair, and she was holding her head up like this because she couldn't stand the weight of her head on her neck. She was hurting so bad. And if that doesn't get your attention, I don't know what does. It's just like nobody knew what to do, and it's like somebody fix this, you know, but they really didn't know what to do but pump her up with narcotics and send her home.
By the way, in true Rosie fashion, when I fell asleep on my bike, I remember when that happened, and the thing that freaked me out was like I woke up on this like basketball court, like I was just, out, and my sister was and everybody was freaking out. So the first thing I literally did was like try to like downplay it. The first thing I did was like, oh no, I just fell asleep. It's fine, because it's totally normal for like a 5 or 6 year old kid to just go out on their bike. But the migraine thing was crazy.
That was scary.
nuts. And they just thought at the time, because my biological father has migraines, and so they had done all kinds of testing. And by the way, here's another like true testament to how like if you're not careful and you're not educated, things can go downhill if you don't know what questions to ask and what to push. Because one of the things that happened is I had that really bad migraine and they didn't know why. They did like all the testing to rule out anything crazy. And one of the things they did was they did a spinal tap for spinal meningitis. And I didn't get the proper information on how to, I don't know, like the risks that come with that. At the time I was in pain and they're like, okay, well, we need to do this. And I didn't know, I wasn't educated. So I was just like, oh, okay. And I got a really bad cerebral spinal fluid leak. And still to this day, of all of the things that I've been through, that might be the most pain I've ever been in.
That whole spinal thing they did on you was
Yeah.
crazy scary. They had her bent over this, putting the big needle on her back, and she was like, "I'm gonna pass out. I'm gonna pass out." And they're, no, we're almost done. I was like, "Get her. She's passing out." No,
Yeah.
hey, ma'am, don't touch her. You can't touch her.
They didn't
There
tell
was
me
blood going
anything.
everywhere, and she was about to pass out, and it was horrifying, to be honest.
Yeah, they didn't
Blood
tell me like the symptoms that can happen from a leak. They didn't tell me that a leak could happen, anything like that. So I had this leak, and basically what happens, in really plain terms, is your spinal fluid leaks out, and that's what like goes around your brain. So it feels like exactly what happens. It feels like your brain is bouncing around in your skull, and it's so painful. And so the way that they fix that is you go back in and they draw blood out of your arm and then they put it back into the hole to plug the hole so that it doesn't continue to leak. And by the time I went back in and realized there was something really wrong, I couldn't stand. I couldn't even hardly turn my head. And it was like the minute I sat up, I would just go out. So I'm sitting there and they want you to sit up over this bed and then they're taking blood out of your arm and putting it into your back. I know this is graphic. And so I'm sitting there and I keep telling them, I'm like, I'm about to pass out. And they're like, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. And I was losing consciousness to the point where they had to drop the IV kit that they were taking the blood out with and run to get me so that I wouldn't fall back on that needle. And it was just running everywhere. It was a horror scene. It was terrible.
It was terrifying.
Yeah.
As a mom, what's going through your mind watching like all of this?
Pure terror, and I've said this many times since she got sick. As a parent, from day one, you're a parent, you'll understand this. When your kid gets hurt, it's your job to fix it. It's your job to kiss it and make it better. And when you can't, they were like, I'm like, somebody get her, she's passing out. Not, ma'am, no, you can't touch her, you can't touch her.
And they were yelling at her.
Somebody get her, she's passing out. So those are the things that go through your mind. Somebody help my child, and feeling helpless. Because helpless when your child's hurting is not a good thing. That's not a good combination. I'm sweating like crazy. I get really anxious and I sweat like crazy. So you're gonna see me fanning myself a whole lot.
It's okay.
It happens. It's gonna have to be okay because I can't sweat.
This is what you get. We show up how we show up.
This is how we.
But yeah, I know one of the things that she said to me a lot, and like one of the reasons why I kind of wanted to do this, where she told her perspective, is because I get comments all the time on social media from parents, whether their kids are kids or whether they're grown, they're adults and stuff like that. I don't think that there's ever a time where, I don't have kids, but like I don't think that there's ever a time where you stop being your kid's advocate. If you're a good parent, of course. So it's one of those things where I think that a lot of parents, especially with adult children who are going through this, who are feeling their adult kids' pain, I think that they often feel kind of alone and overlooked in that stuff. I mean, I know when we were going through it, we didn't know anybody.
Oh gosh,
Like,
yeah.
that was one of the reasons I started, as we've talked about before, telling my story on social media. I didn't have proper education. I didn't have any support because nobody knew what to do. And I think it was the same, for you, right?
Yeah, I mean, we would go to, oh, well, we heard about this, so let's go here and try this treatment, or let's go try this, and then our host would be way up here, the physician or whatever would be like, we're not going to stop till we find out what's going on, and then 3, 4, 5 visits later, we're driving home in tears because they say we don't know what else to do for you.
Yeah.
That's hopelessness right there.
And when doctors get stumped, they get dismissive
Yes.
to the point where it's like, oh, well, maybe you're not doing this, or
Maybe
perhaps,
you're an addict. Maybe
yeah,
you're just looking for pills. That's the thing that always got me because Rosie would do everything in her power to keep from going to the emergency room. And then it got to the point where it's like, I'm dying here. I got to go get some treatment. And the way they'd look at her when she come in there, it just,
yeah.
looking at your child like that, and when you're supposed to be helping them, and they're calling her a frequent flyer because she's in there looking
I
for
was a
help.
frequent flyer,
You
just not
were
for the reason
absolutely
they
not for
thought.
that reason. Yeah, but yeah, that's when someone's dismissing your kid as an addict, that's it's hard to take. It's a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah. Sucks.
So as the time went on and you were slowly getting answers, um, what were the steps that you were taking to try to, help Rosie along those lines?
Educating myself right along with her. Different things she would send me or different things she would tell me about, and I would look things up myself. That's the main thing with anyone with this, especially as a parent. I mean, the best way to guide your kid, be there for your child, is to educate and know what they're going through and what they could be going through, possibly in the future. Education and just making sure they know we're right there all the time.
From my perspective, the best thing she did, if she would have never learned anything, I mean, of course, that would have not been great, but the best thing that she did, like, I'm blessed. I'll say it. Like, I've talked about it before. I have the best mom. Like, there's never been a time in my life, even with the traumatic stuff that's happened that I've talked about on the show before. Like, I I don't know how many people I've spoken to that have had that same thing happen, and their parent did not believe, their mom didn't believe them, or whatever. So, like, I'm blessed that she's always been behind me no matter what. Even when people, like, even people in my life at one point were like, is she an addict? Like, is she, you know what I mean? Is this a problem? But that was never her. She always had my back because she knows me and knew what I was
That's what I was
about.
gonna say. I know my child.
Yeah. But, like, the best thing she did outside of education or anything like that, that's so important, don't get me wrong, but she kept showing up. And, like, even when it was hard, even when it was hard, I know it was heartbreaking for her because I said a lot of things to her that I wish I never would have said. I was in the mental health hole where I didn't want to be here anymore. I wanted to die, and I would lay there and I would cry and I would talk to her and I would tell her and I would be like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I really don't.
How many times did you say
So
those
many
words to me?
times.
She was wanting me to give her permission to not do it anymore.
Yeah.
And that
But
was
she
never an
also
option.
did this really great thing. And I know that this is kind of dark, but, like, she did this really amazing thing where I think I can only imagine as a parent your kid saying that to you, no matter how old they are. Your first instinct is to want to be like, what the hell is wrong with you? Why would you ever say that? How could you say that to me? But that didn't happen. she had this really, she still does this amazing way of making me feel heard and seen and validated without giving me permission to do something stupid. So it was like she would sit there with me. I don't know how many times she said, I would understand. I would understand. And that's so terrible for a parent to have to say.
After the fact, I would tell her that.
Yeah.
Not during that
Yeah,
time.
no, not
It'd
during
be
that
like,
time.
if you had have done something to yourself,
I would have understood. And but like in the time she'd be like, I know it's awful, it's terrible, it's unfair. You know what I mean? She'd have this way of like making sure that I understood that I was seen and I was heard, but also not giving me that permission. Because she's right. That's what I was doing. You know what I mean? I was like, okay, if mom gives me the idea that it's okay, then it's okay. But like she didn't do that, but she also didn't make me feel disregarded or invalidated, which I think that I can only imagine how hard that line was to walk.
it was.
Like,
But God gave me the ability to do that.
yeah.
So when she was going through that dark period, and she was, well, even where Rosie, you made comments about even before any of this, you'd had those thoughts.
Oh yeah.
When she's going through all that with the lupus, and before finding out or anything like that, and even before that, what I know as a parent how hard it is, but with your perspective, what was it like for you?
Once again, the feeling of being helpless. So those were the times I'd be taking her stuff to eat, or going and cleaning up her place for her, or just being her mom. Just being there and being her mom, because you don't know what to do, so you do what you know how to do for your kid, and that's tend to them and take care of them, and that's pretty much it. And keep praying, keep praying all the time.
So much happened so quickly.
A lot. My goodness.
So it was like, like I've spoken to you about like periods like a couple of times like actually almost dying. And the reason I don't get into the like, details of it or whatever is because frankly I don't know. I was unconscious a lot of the time, but that, we talk a lot about people, with chronic illnesses and how traumatic that is to have a chronic illness and to have these things happen. But in my opinion, that situation, it traumatized her way more than it did me because I didn't know what was going on. So, what was it, 24, 48 hours, something like that I was mostly unconscious and stuff. Like
Yeah. And then having little mini seizures. She was having little mini seizures, and she didn't know I was there until I was done this to her head.
Yeah.
And she knew I was there. That's the only time she knew I was there. Mom, I think you were there because I felt you rubbing my head. And that's what I did know. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
This is what we're here for. And those were the ways I made her feel better when she was a baby. And those are the things you do for your child when you don't know what else to do. Kleenex. Oh.
Just kick the table. She's like, screw that table.
For what it's worth. I mean, I've gotten Rosie several times, but
I told her before we came on, I was like, look, you will 100% cry. I said, because he makes it his mission every single time to get somebody all in their feels. Actually, I think that one was my fault. Sorry.
I used to be hard. I used to be
She
so
was.
hard. And I don't have to be anymore. And that's tough not being tough anymore,
Yeah.
I can agree with that, because I think the older I've gotten, and watching my kids, like with my son with autism, and how hard life is sometimes for him, or like my youngest Grayson, whenever he was born with the heart condition, there's a lot of things that like are completely out of your hands, And it is, I was very emotional then. I got a little bit harder as life grew up, went on. But as I've gotten older, and the more I've been talking to people, I've become a little bit more sappy. And now I've just, out of just spite, I've just made it my mission to make other people cry.
So, like, you can kind of probably understand, having a kid that's on the spectrum and stuff. Like, it's a different kind of stuff, but like, you watch your kids struggle. And again, I can't speak from personal experience, but I can only imagine how difficult it is not to just, because another thing that I think is complicated, and I know your kids are a little bit younger, but like, I was a whole adult with a whole life. So it's like, I don't know. I guess I haven't really like spoken about this much, but I think that the way you navigated that was so brilliant. And I can't imagine how difficult that was, because it's like, if you're sick and you have all of these things that are being taken from you, like my job, my financial security, friends, your that's
Family
not even,
members.
yeah, family members, and that's not even mentioning like what's happening to you and your body. And but then also, you don't want somebody, even though you know that they love you, you don't want them to come and take away something else from you, which is like your ability to be an adult. So I can only imagine how many times you probably just wanted to like kidnap me and lock me in the bedroom over
Oh,
here.
it would have been so much easier if you were still a kid.
Yeah.
If you were still a kid, and I'd give anything for all four of them. And ooh, to be here, little kids again, where mama
Yeah.
could take care of them.
About 5 minutes and then
Yeah,
you'd be
I would
over
be
it.
kicking them out pretty quick. But
But yeah, so like she was able to maintain this, like honestly, it's kind of amazing, sitting here and talking through it all now, like how really beautifully she navigated it, because
well, thank you, because I was flailing.
yeah,
I was flailing.
I mean, I can imagine. You probably felt like you were, but really you weren't. But she was really good about like making sure that I still had my own identity, and also reminding me, this was one of the bigger things, reminding me
Who you are.
who I am, because you lose it. That was the big thing that drove me to depression. It wasn't, I had a whole lifetime of stuff, as we've discussed before even this happened, but it was like, one more thing, and then it made me slow down to where I couldn't just focus on other things. But it's just it was so much to navigate, and to for you to do it so beautifully, I think is just a
I
testament
forgot
to who
who
you
Rosie
are.
was for a long time.
Yeah.
And still, the Rosie you are now is a totally different person than the Rosie you were before you got. She lived and breathed her job, That was her whole identity. Well, all of us do that, you know what I mean? But she did good. She did so good for such a young age. But
I don't know if anybody's noticed this, but I'm slightly type A. Just slightly.
I mean, I was constantly, Rosie, you need to slow down a little bit. You got to take care of yourself. And we've talked about this too, maybe God kind of knew she was going to be sick and let her go do all that running and all those crazy things while she's still good. But she's such a grown up now, and not a constantly chasing the dollar and chasing that title and chasing that approval from other people. She could care less if she's got that approval from other people. She's just gonna be her, and her being Rosie is a beautiful thing for me to see, because what she's done with all these other people, my goodness, it's amazing. It's amazing.
To be fair, it's not like I came to that on my own. It literally got snatched from my clutches. I would like to be like, oh, yes, I realized that this was not healthy for me and I should do something else. But no, it was just like, nah, you're
Well, to
fired.
be fair, she went from going, 24/7 to late. She literally lived on a hide-a-bed for what, about 18 months, 2 years.
Oh yeah, probably.
Living on Cheez-Its.
Couldn't
She
even
ate
make it to
nothing
my
but
bed
Cheez-Its.
most of the time.
Nothing but Cheez-Its. She lived on Cheez-Its and Mountain Dew.
Yep.
And was always on that high to bed when you go to her house. Not functioning. Couldn't function. And now look at her. That's huge. Cleveland Clinic didn't know what to do. That was
Yeah.
one of the worst ones. When we'll go to Cleveland Clinic because everybody goes to Cleveland Clinic and gets better. And they were, oh yeah, we'll get to the bottom of it. And that was the longest ride home in tears after that fourth or fifth 3 hour in the blizzards and bad roads, and we don't know what else to do.
And I think that's one of the worst things that can happen is the possible. A lot of people think that people with chronic illnesses are being negative because somebody will say, "Oh, I have this idea of what can help you." Like I deal with it a lot with Emily. Like people will come to Emily and be like, "Oh, when you have this happen, when you try this new antibiotic, when you do this, when you do that, it's going to be so great. You're going to feel so much better." And she will say a lot, "Well, we don't know that." And people think you're just being negative, but that's not the case. What actually it is managing your expectations, because one of the worst, most heartbreaking things of anything that can happen to you with a chronic illness is someone giving you hope and then it being removed. It is heartbreaking. It is devastating. I cannot even fully explain how absolutely terrible that is for you and your mental health. It's awful. One of the worst things that can happen with you with chronic illness is being sick and someone giving you hope, and then it or any hope, even if they don't know it's false. Any kind of hope, and then it just going down the drain.
Yeah, I think the intention was there. I think the intention was there that they were 100% confident they could get to the bottom of this, and then don't tell people we won't give up if you're going to give up.
And the problem too is the way that they deal with it when they can't. Like it's not. I don't want to say everybody because I've had some good doctors, but I've had some really terrible ones. And what happens often is that when they get to a point where they don't know, then it becomes your fault. So it's like, well, that was a lot of the time when addiction would come into the picture. Like they would see my whole chart, see all of these things and not think that I was an addict until they didn't know what was wrong. And then it was all of a sudden they wanted to go to that because that got them off the hook. So yeah. Anyway, we got off on a tangent, but it's so complicated.
With you if it doesn't.
That's true. It's just it's hard to sit here and talk about this stuff. It's like so multifaceted and complicated. And
I mean, we questioned the fact at one time if her ex-husband was poisoning her food.
Yeah.
Do you think because don't get us started on that? We're really talking. But, I mean, we'd actually a few people sitting in the room discussing maybe he's putting something in her food.
Yeah. Because
that's when she was still go, go, go and had all that money coming in, and he was going through it like, wow.
Yeah.
Like crazy. Yeah, we discussed that. Do you think he could be poisoning her food? I mean, just grasping at straws.
You think about literally everything. Everything.
Sorry, I'm like, there's so many parts of that whole tangent that like caught my attention. The poisoning the food theory is there. I'm curious what other theories there was, but first I want to go back to you living off of Mountain Dew and Cheez-Its.
Oh yeah,
she did. Absolutely.
That was literally okay. So everybody knows at this point about my love affair with Mountain Dew. I've not made a secret of it, right?
Oh,
no,
absolutely.
But the way that I know, I'm mad about it. So the way that actually began, I mean, I always drank it here and there, but the way it became like a full-blown problem was because of that. So Mountain Dew has a buttload of sugar in it, a bunch of caffeine. So it was one of those things where literally I couldn't get calories into me. So Cheez-Its were something that was bland enough to actually stay in my stomach, and but it had some flavor to it that didn't make me sick. So there were a lot of days where I would eat like 3 Cheez-Its a day just because I couldn't eat anything else. So it was that and then Mountain Dew, and I took in a lot of Mountain Dew because I could mostly keep down fluids.
It was something.
Yeah. And so it was a lot of calories, a lot of sugar going into you. So essentially you didn't bottom out, which I know sounds crazy, but now it's just because
Cheez-Its, not so much.
yeah, no.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
she'll have a couple bad days where her stomach's really going like crazy. She'll be like, "Hey, haven't heard from you. You okay?" Not too good, Mom. I've been eating Cheez-Its. It's like, no, Cheez-Its. No.
Cheez-Its have
Cheez-Its
become code.
is the buzzword. Not Cheez-Its.
I don't even like them anymore. I used to really love
Cheez-Its
them.
should
But,
have sponsored
oh,
you one time.
I'm
Cheez-Its,
telling
Mountain Dew, and Carmex, man.
yeah. I mean, to be fair, Carmex sent me some stuff.
That's true. They sent you some.
Yeah.
So yeah, they did send you some stuff. All right. So what
They
was
did.
the other than like the ex-husband trying to murder your daughter? What was the other theories that you were thinking?
Oh gosh.
There were tons.
Is she on something that we don't know?
Yeah.
You know, are the doctors right? Are the hospitals right? Is she on medication? Is she taking?
Or
is she
was
on
I
heroin?
abusing the medication I had?
Yes.
Like,
Everything runs through your mind because you see your kid dying, literally dying in front of you, and you can't stop it.
I was
Stop
doing
it.
wild treatments there for a while. Like,
Yeah.
they didn't know what to do, so I did free radical therapy. I went to it. This is wild. Okay, I'm gonna let you know that I know that this sounds insane now, but it was literally like I had no idea
It was a tiny bit of hope.
what else to
But,
do.
you know.
Yeah, and it was like, so I went to this Amish herbalist where you go to this guy, which I know that this doesn't make sense, but it was an Amish guy who was an herbalist, and he took you to this little shop, or well, he didn't take you there. You went there. That sounded like he kidnapped me. But you went there, and they took a really close-up picture of your eyeball, and the claim was that they could tell by the colors in your iris. Is that what it is? Your iris, what you need or what could be, messing up or whatever in your body. And it was essentially a scheme to sell supplements, but it was like I had no idea. So I was like, okay, maybe I have some kind of imbalance. I did free radical therapy, which was essentially me going like, I think it was 2 times a week I drove an hour 2 times a week to sit there with this little like wand thing around my neck and around my stomach that's supposed to balance all the free radicals in your body. I did acupuncture, lymphatic drainage massages.
So much stuff.
Uh,
You were trying everything there for a while.
what's the one with your feet? Reflexology. I couldn't even tell you. There was so much. One of the things we did at Cleveland Clinic, they paralyzed me from the neck down to try to see if that affected anything. So I went to their clinic and they literally put an epidural kit in, and then they literally inject this medicine all the way up that paralyzes you from the waist down to see if it affects your pain or not. It did, but I couldn't feel shit.
It wore off.
Yeah, it was.
It was good. It was fine till the shot wore off, and slowly here it came again.
There were a bunch of poison. I'm trying to think, man, there was so much that we thought about.
Mm-hmm.
Like trauma, of course. That was one of the things that was brought into the conversation.
Anything and everything.
Yeah, mental health issues. Maybe I was having a nervous breakdown.
Yeah. What did I do when I was pregnant that caused this?
Right.
Everything, anything and everything.
Yeah.
Will go through your mind at those times. What's it there that I haven't thought of yet that would fix this. It's not there. But as a parent, it's your job to find out what's there and what needs, what you can do to fix it. But you can't.
By the way, to be clear, this issue that we're currently talking about
It's not lupus.
never went away.
It's not lupus. Neither
It's not
is it.
lupus, and it never went away. Like, I just figured out how to, like, adapt with it. And of course, getting my mental health back in check and getting that under control did seem to chill out a lot of it, which again, we've talked about this before. This is something people don't like to talk about because we get accused of being crazy so often. But there is a mental health aspect to being chronically ill, to where it can make you feel sicker and you can have a lot of problems because of it. So it is something that's worth mentioning. But I literally just realized that one of the traps I fell into was waiting to get better. And I know that sounds weird, but like, instead of adapting, I was waiting to get better and not putting away and grieving my old self. And so it was one of those things where it was like, putting that away and figuring out how to move forward and getting my own brain under control made a difference. But I have that pain still as
And
we're
learning
sitting
when
here
to
right
say
now.
when.
Yeah.
I'm sure this is a thing with every person that has chronic illness. You have 1, maybe 2 days where you're good. I feel really good today. I'm going to go out and do all this stuff that I can't do any other day. And instead of being down for maybe 3 days, you're down for 5 or 6 because you tried to hurry up. And you know what I'm saying?
I don't
You
do that.
cram all this stuff in there in a couple days, and then you're bottom out 10 times worse. You don't do that like you
No.
used to.
No, I mean, I
It
still
was
do it.
terrible. She would, I'm gonna do it. Well, I feel good. I'm gonna do it. And it's like, oh, yeah, she's in the emergency room last night. So
Well,
I'm
and I
getting
think
every
the knowing when to say when thing too is relevant, because after I got diagnosed with lupus, and I've touched on this a little bit, like, I did not respect the limitations. Um, I mind over mattered everything else in my life, so I think I thought that it was going to be like that. And so I was working like 70 hours a week and walking all day every day and doing it, but I did for everybody else, and I still do to some aspect, but I had no boundaries. Whatever someone needed, I ran, you know what I mean? Like, so one of the traps I got myself into is I did not respect my limitations and know when to take care of myself. And I still struggle with that, but it's gotten a lot better.
Yeah. So when she gets her diagnosis, you finally find out, for the lack of a better term here, what the fuck is wrong with her. Still to this day, I don't think it's just lupus. There's definitely
I was
something
gonna
wrong with your
say,
daughter.
one of the reasons, legit, I only wanted to bring her on here is so that I could answer that question once and for all. It's genetic. Yeah.
Was there any kind of relief on you to that you finally got the answer before reality hit in that, it's lupus and this is never going to go away?
Not with that diagnosis, probably, right?
No, but the lupus diagnosis was once again, what's that? Nobody knows what that is.
My sister cried. My one sister cried because she thought it was terminal.
Terminal.
She did, we didn't know, so.
Yeah, that's where the education came in, because it's like nobody knows what it. I mean, there was a guy she worked with that was like,
Oh my gosh.
Hey, does that mean you turn into like a werewolf? Lupus,
Yeah.
lupus.
Yeah.
Is that where you're like, what is that? That's weird.
Like, he was being funny, of course, but like he
didn't
was
know.
so like, what the hell? Oh my God, that guy's hilarious. Actually, he's on TikTok. I don't know. I'll have to send you some of his stuff, but he's a freaking trip. But he was like, I'm pretty sure that's like, he was so like, he was one of those people like Nick who can say some things like that sound serious. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, oh yeah, that lupus thing. So like, isn't that where like he made it so intricate. Every like third Saturday or Wednesday. Isn't that where you just turn into a werewolf? I'm like, bro. So yeah.
But 99% of the people that you mentioned lupus, my daughter has lupus. I've heard of that. What is that? So that's where
Yeah.
you gotta, because I didn't know. I had no idea. That's where you gotta really jump in, get online and do your education and try to
Yeah.
figure out what you're dealing with.
Which is why Rosie's so annoying with the giving people facts.
But how
because,
many other people have you really taught
Yeah.
what this
Yeah.
is? A lot.
I don't know.
A lot.
Education is the number one thing you will ever do with stuff like this. Because, like I
Yeah.
said, back when with the migraines and stuff, if I had known what I know now, I would have known what to do and what to say no to and how to deal with that a little better.
Yeah, hindsight is always 2020.
Yeah.
So let's move past all that. Let's look at where your daughter is now. I have several questions about this subject here. As somebody that has met your daughter several years ago, and as some of us like to say, Brian conned us into joining her cult. When did you know your daughter was a cult leader?
Immediately.
Probably, it became aware when I found out that when she was little and I would be gone and they would be playing or something and Rosie would fall and get hurt because she's the youngest of four. So they would all be bribing Rosie, here, I'll give you this. Just quit crying before mom gets home. Hurry, quit crying
Yeah.
before mom gets home and I'll give you $5 if you quit crying before mom gets home. So she was at it at a pretty early age, actually.
I guess that kind of
Everybody's always just kind of flocked to Rosie, and I'll say it again. I named her right when I named her Rosie. I've said that from day one because that's just who she is and that's how she conducts herself. And there's no one out there that's more proud of their daughter than I am. She's an amazing woman and one of my very best friend in the whole world,
I agree with that.
So, and we were talking about this not too long ago, how, a lot of people who have a hard time, they can cut loose and actually let go and be silly and crazy because Rosie's in the room. Rosie brings that out in people. And that's a huge gift. That's a huge, huge gift to have, to be able to make people know it's okay to be silly and fun and be yourself at any cost.
This is making me feel icky.
Why?
Why? Maybe nice things. I don't know what to do with my hands right now.
I just
Thank
want
you.
you to I just want you to know, Rosie, that I specifically designed that question to make you uncomfortable.
Oh, it does. It does. I mean, she tells me this stuff, of course, like a lot, but usually it's a very short thing because I get uncomfortable and say something stupid to change the subject. But
And we start crying.
yeah, it's a problem. But I agree with her. Like, I think that everybody has probably heard me say this at this point, that my mom's my best friend. Like, I know, and I know, I never took that for granted, but I do know now how rare that is. That especially mothers and daughters have that kind of relationship. Like, I was never, even when I was a teenager and stuff like that, it was never like, I'm in trouble, I can't ever tell my mom. It was the opposite. It was like, oh my God, I'm really in trouble. I need to tell my mom. I need to talk to my
So
mom.
that time I caught you and Heather pie.
Yeah, I got in trouble.
That was great.
I got
You
grounded.
didn't really get in trouble. I just told you.
That's one of the few times I can ever remember being actually grounded and you sticking to it. It was the very first time I ever smoked, ever. First time I ever tried it, I got busted.
Yeah, I knew because I knew, and I walked in her room and I was talking to her and the girls were talking and they were like, yeah, I don't know. Right. So, stupid. So I was like, what's going on? So I walked out and then I walked down the hallway a little bit and I walked back and I said, oh, hey, have you seen my blah, blah, blah? And she was like, Yeah, and I was like, you are. I knew it. I knew it. You're so busted.
Yep. I got in trouble. And I want to point out too, this
fun.
is coming from the person who literally smoked my entire life, except for like a period of like a couple of years.
I quit smoking when I worked the factory.
Right, but I'm saying there were like a few years where she stopped, and I happened to be experimenting during that time where she was mad about it. It's that every other one of my siblings have sat down and smoked with my mother, but I got in
Tina
trouble.
never did.
No?
Tina never did. No, Tina never smoked with them. But your brother and sister, oh yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, that was another tangent. I'm upset about this still.
This is great.
You can come and smoke us sometime if you want to. If it'll.
I can't do it anymore.
Why?
Because it gives me anxiety. I'm old.
I'm older. We can get some smoking. Maybe it'll make you less anxious.
It doesn't work. It does the opposite.
The Lord's lettuce. It's not the devil's lettuce anymore. It's the Lord's lettuce. Miss Kitty wants in on this conversation.
She can come in.
What out of all of your daughter's traits, what's the part of her that you can look at and say, that's me? I got that from me.
Oh, hi, Miss Kitty.
Get out of there.
Kitty's turn.
The cat's trying to. Oh.
The playfulness that I've always had. Yeah.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Like, she can give me all of these, she can say things like that, but the truth of the matter is I got that from her. Like I did. And anybody who knows the both of us will tell you. I mean, I'm sure people are picking up from this conversation that like she's weird and funny, but also kind of, can be serious and make people feel. I mean, I just spent a whole bunch of time saying how she made me feel seen and heard, even when it was difficult for her. So like all of those things I got from her. I mean, the whole entire concept of like the way, like the thing that people like about me with the Island of Misfit Toys BBS weirdos, like the thing that attracts people to that is that like just giving people a safe place to be and be themselves. Like she taught me that. She's the one who like instilled that in me. I never had to be somebody else. Like I went through weird phases of time where she was like, but she never judged me or made me feel like I was less than. And even now, if I do something that I may know she doesn't agree with or whatever, she still makes me feel seen and heard. She'll tell me that she doesn't agree with it, but you know what I mean? Like it's a safe place to be, and that's the thing that I didn't realize I was doing for other people because it just felt like the normal thing to do. But
And
she instilled that in me.
I think I've always tried to instill in my kids to make sure other people are heard as well, because you're not better than anybody else. Don't look down on anybody else unless you're helping them up type thing. And it just came to me, the little Island of Misfit Toys. She did that in high school. There was how many kids in high school? Geez, probably a good half dozen, maybe 10.
I didn't make this connection until not too long ago when she brought it up. By the way,
the nerdy kids, the kids that the computer geeks, and the misfits. That they were family, and they were all hung out at that one guy's house, and each of them had their little quirky thing that nobody liked them because of it.
Yeah.
But Rosie was right there in the middle of it.
But you're the one who instilled in me that it doesn't matter what someone looks like or what they choose to, I mean, even, anything, it doesn't matter what someone is, it's who they are. So like, that was the thing. I didn't set out to ever be like, hey, these people, no, that was never the thing. It was just like, hey, these are the people I like. These are the people that are kind.
And they were nice to you. And
Because misfits are the nicest. They're the best people because they know what it's like to not belong.
It's fair. That is very. It's very, very true.
I mean,
And
it's simple.
it is.
And the
I
thing
mean,
Brian always says is me collecting people, and that's 100% legit because here's what happens.
don't give him that.
Right, but it actually is true because I get to know somebody, I see what they're about, and they're cool, and they're kind, and those people are rare. They're so rare. So it's like I want to collect them into my little sphere of weirdness, like I want them to be under the weird umbrella because they're a good person. Because some people are just weird, not in a good way, you know? So I do kind of want to collect those people. I want as many of those people around me as I can have.
Because there's a little place for each one of them, and
Yeah.
in the big
We're all
puzzle,
really-
the big scheme of things, there's a little piece for every person.
Absolutely.
In there. You just got to figure out where you fit.
We're all so different, but that's what works. So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, we all are pretty different, and I think me and Rosie have had this conversation about us having that similarity of people being drawn to you. It's a weird. I know whenever I was younger, it was always weird that I was like, man, why does everybody want to like hang out with me? I'm really nothing special. And then
I still feel like that.
I slowly just started to accept the fact that maybe it's because once the beard starts growing out or the hair is bald that I'm slowly transforming into Charles Manson. So
Could be. You might be a cult leader too. You just haven't grabbed the cult yet.
Yes.
First of all, I've already accepted the fact that I am a cult leader. I'm just too lazy to actually do the leading part.
You're just waiting on them to follow you, even if you don't go anywhere.
He's like, people will come along eventually.
I'm just waiting for them to come up with a good idea.
There you go.
So, throughout your daughter's journey and its whole rigmarole of just what the fuckery,
You're gonna have to show him the Jesus thing.
Oh, yeah.
I get in trouble. Okay, wait. We're gonna take a little detour here for just 1 second because every time I'm over here and I say she's like, look at it. So every time I do something, she's like, had to take him to see Jesus.
To be fair, hold on 1 second.
To be fair.
Oh, he's going to get his Bible.
I was staring at Jesus.
Bobblehead Jesus. That's kind of brilliant, actually.
Cool.
I kind of want one.
I know. There was a time whenever I was getting, I think it was my first marriage. I couldn't figure out who I was going to have as my best man because my original best man was deployed. And I brought up the comment about how bobblehead Jesus should be my best man.
You should have. That would have been great.
For some reason, I let other people talk me out of it.
Rude.
I still think, to this day, those would have been some epic pictures.
If you have bobblehead Jesus on your side, your marriage probably would have lasted.
It probably would have.
Day for many years, by golly.
I honestly, every time his head does bobble, like my neck hurts because I'm like, I don't know if I could not mock him, but like imitate him
Right.
anymore.
That's great.
Anyway,
Dude, who's just sitting around and whips out a bobblehead Jesus?
Really? Now we
Only
know.
Shannon. Yeah. It's impressive.
He's next to he's right next to bobblehead Deadpool. So
He has friends.
He's
Not a
got-
lot.
and a moon pie.
A moon pie.
Yeah, I have a little moon pie Funko Pop that my kids got me for. I don't remember the holiday. It could have been my birthday. It could have been Father's Day. I don't know. It was one of those things. I don't
Nice.
remember.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, yeah. I'll have to.
I think
I'll
they
have to
make
send you a
Funko
picture.
Pop
My
every,
entire.
don't they?
Yeah.
Anyway, where I was going with it, throughout that whole stuff that that your daughter went through, and watching her kind of. So, I mean, obviously she's still dealing with it, and still gets her from time to time. What was your proudest moment watching her
Proudest
go through all
moments?
that? Yeah.
That's a good question. Um,
What was it?
what was it?
What was it?
It it'd have to be assembling this collection of people. I mean, they've all been out there flailing and looking for their little place to land, and they found it, and it's a beautiful thing to see. It's an absolute beautiful thing to see. It's a beautiful thing to be a part of.
Do you remember what I said when you asked me that question?
What'd you say?
That
Same thing.
Yeah.
It's been no one's more proud of their daughter than I am. She's my own personal hero. My personal hero.
Let's not get crazy.
It's true.
Making me
It's
feel
true.
weird.
I tell anybody.
I know. I know you're telling the truth because of Jesus, but like, it makes me feel so weird. She's the same way, by the way, with the whole compliments and people saying nice things. We don't know what to do.
That's fair, because she knows I'm the same way, and I will actually. I've started to wonder if I should just like cut off interviews whenever when
I'm
she
like
starts that shit.
fighting the urge every time she starts that. I'm like fighting the urge to just be like,
Oh shucks.
I'm gonna piece myself out.
This is your
Now
mother
that she's out
talking
of the
to
room,
you. You will listen
now
to
that
it,
she's out of the
young lady.
room, let me tell you what I really
That's
feel.
why I haven't. Because she'll give me a whooping. Listen, I'm 42 years old. I still ain't crossing my
She's still
mother.
scared of a whooping.
Yes, I am.
She's the most beautiful person on the inside and the out that I've ever met in my life, honestly. And I say that with 100% confidence. Hand to the Lord above.
Yeah.
love you.
Well,
Hands down.
I will agree that she is very beautiful on the inside
Do you
and out.
think the only one that thinks
If I
that?
can get past the giant forehead.
Yeah, it takes a while to get past that giant thing.
It's where I wear a
think
hat.
Here's
Dude.
my
forehead's a
question.
unique
Well,
look.
okay, now that we're on this subject and we're side by side, what the fuck? You have like a normal forehead.
I'm not sick.
It's not about sickness. I've had this thing all my life. You know what?
Maybe I didn't push hard enough. Maybe I pushed
There
too
are some
hard.
pumpkin-headed Chapmans, though, now that I think about
Oh,
it.
the Chapmans.
Yeah, okay.
It's the
Never
Chapmans.
mind. I figured it out.
Chapman family.
I was gonna say it was all those migraines and stuff like that. You know, just
Her brain's too
Expanded.
big. Her
Yeah.
brain's too big for her head.
I started telling people that that's because everybody tells me secrets.
Where did you get that? Oh.
I don't know. I was like, it keeps expanding because I hold everybody's secrets. Because people will tell you, listen, this is one of the things I will say about me that people say that I agree with is I am a secret keeper. Like if you tell me something, nobody will ever know that. Like
It's true.
telling you right now, it will die with me. So like I think that's what's happening. It gets bigger because all of the secrets are filling up the space.
So not touching that one. Anyway, so with this whole thing that's goes on, and and your daughter has literally been the one of the faces and voices and advocates for her community. What do you do to help her with it, since you know you got the walk coming up, and so fundraising is starting. Let's talk about what does Mama do to help her fundraise?
Well, fancy you mentioned that. Since I am gnome mama, and I make gnomes all the time, I make those for raffles or whatever. Whatever we need, however many she needs.
But
You're
she
allowed.
also, like,
Huh?
whatever I ask.
That's what I was gonna say. Anything
Literally whatever
from
I
here to
ask.
here that she needs help with, then all she's got to do is shoot me a text.
Like, she's done everything from making things to driving me places to shipping things for me, like, anything
And
I
putting up
ask.
with your friends.
That too. Yeah, that's the hard part.
No, they're an amazing bunch of people. I look forward to spending time. These guys wear me out every year at the Lupus Walk. It's a great thing, and I love them all. Each one has a special place in my heart. But man, when they're gone, I'm ready to take a nap. I ain't lying. They wear me out for that couple days. I ain't gonna lie. They play hard.
I think that's a common sentiment with everybody. I think everybody's worn out.
Yes.
Well, to be fair, that's like I've physically met some of them whenever we were in Omaha for Emily's thing, and that 2-hour drive back.
We're a lot.
Oh man.
Like, I don't think
Yes.
that that's disrespectful to say, like, we are a lot. We are a whole bunch of
Yes.
different energy and craziness all to be all in one place.
To
Aaron by
combine
himself's a
all
lot.
that crazy.
Brian's a lot. You're a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Combined in all those
Yeah.
lots all together into
It's a
one big lot.
combustible element.
Yes.
If we ever wanted to live in the same place, it would legit, speaking of cult leaders, have to be like a Waco style compound that was like away from everybody, or
Yes.
it would
Yes.
It would
drive
have to
people
be,
nuts.
and I can guarantee you the fire from Waco would be like minimal compared to the fire that you get if you got me
Oh, yeah.
and Brian and Aaron and Nick close to fire.
Yeah,
And
for
Contra.
sure.
Contra's
Contra's a firebug. Speaking of the walk stuff, by the way, I'm going to loop back around. So we are officially,
Loop. He said loop. Get it?
no,
Lupus.
yeah, I got it.
She's being.
I was going to make her explain it.
I ain't explaining because I know that.
So we are
Taking
officially in the season. So we are officially, Chronically Awesome is officially about to launch our fundraising stuff, and we're
Sure.
doing all kinds of really fun stuff. Yeah, that, I don't know where to point because I can't remember which side you're on in the thing. Anyway, but we are doing some really fun stuff on TikTok. We are attempting, I don't know if it's going to happen, we're going to attempt to do one in-person fundraiser this year, hopefully. I don't know if it's going to happen, though, because it's a lot. But we got all kinds of weird stuff that we're going to do that's a little bit different this year. We're doing a Queen of Hearts 50-50, which is like a lot to explain. So if you want information, let me know. We're doing speed dating for dollars. All the stupid crap that we always do, where we just basically do really dumb stuff for people's donations and all of that. So we're hoping that this will be our 4th year as the top earners. So one thing I figured out the other day, though, this is our 3rd year since I joined TikTok being a part of this walk, and in that 3 years, we've raised almost $20,000 for the Lupus Foundation. That is crazy.
That's huge.
That is crazy.
Yes. That's huge.
We have such an amazing team of people and just people who are willing to help, and I feel truly blessed. I've gotten to do some pretty, all of the stuff that we talked about that was really rough, and kind of crazy. And at the time when it was going on, I saw no purpose in it, and I wished that it didn't happen and all of that. Like, I wouldn't trade a single second of it to get to do what I'm doing now. Just to talk to people about it, for them to learn about it, to do things like advocacy in DC. And this is stuff that I never for a second thought that I could do or was capable of doing, but I especially never thought I'd have the opportunity to do any of it. So
You're killing it.
I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. It's a lot of hard work, don't get me wrong, but I am so beyond grateful. So we are officially in fundraising season, so prepare to be super annoyed by me. More than normal.
I mean, I'm already annoyed by you, but like, I guess
That's
I
fair.
can be annoyed by you for, good reasons.
I mean, there's like Rosie annoyance, and then there's like Rosie competing annoyance. Like, I
Yes.
get crazy.
There's
I get
nothing
crazy.
better in this world than whenever you are down in second place and you are determined to get back up there.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
I'll
will
be
say
honest
this.
with you. I didn't think it was happening last year. I
was
did not.
close there for a minute, wasn't it? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even if coming in second, I still would have been proud because we have done so much and so many amazing things. And if we get beat this year, or if we would have gotten beat last year, we pushed everybody. We were not bringing in numbers like this before, like none of the teams were. So you know what I mean? I'm
Even that
just
one
proud.
girl from Columbus.
Yeah, Tiffany. She's
Tiffany,
amazing.
Yeah. That was a personal thing
Yeah.
for them too.
She's amazing.
But it was great.
Yeah, I hurt her feelings. I had to reach out and apologize. I didn't mean to. I was being silly, and I assume that people like know that I'm just being goofy.
Some
But
people
I
don't really know you.
I hurt her feelings. Yeah, so I had to take responsibility for that. So Tiffany, if you see this, it will not happen again. I get crazy, like legit.
To be fair, this is nothing
It's a character
new.
flaw.
I mean, I got video, but I need to get those videos done, get them put on a drive.
Oh God.
I have video of when you had the old cameras, back in the day, back in the 1900s. And whenever Rosie would see someone with that camera, she's like 12, 13. She goes, "Hey, look at me, look at me, look at me,
Yeah.
look at me." So we got him out a few years back. We hadn't seen him for a long time, and we were watching him. She said, "Mom, I'm so sorry.
I was so annoying.
I am
Sorry. How did you stand me? I was awful. I'm still annoying, but like, man.
Yeah, it's nothing new. It's nothing new.
And then she goes and she meets Contra, who is the worse than she is whenever it comes to being on camera, because he is the star of the show.
Oh yeah.
But Contra's my favorite daughter, so we can't talk smack about Contra because he is my favorite daughter, and they all know it, and they're all good with that. Contra especially is good with the fact that he's my favorite daughter.
Yeah.
And yeah, he can take that to the bank. It's fact. He's my favorite daughter.
Yeah.
Ask him, he'll tell you.
I have a question for you, actually.
Me?
Yeah. So, with all
I didn't mean to break his cup. Did not mean
she
that.
broke his cup the other day. Not his cup, just the lid on it, and she felt so bad. But okay. So with everything that has happened, and like all of the stuff we went through and stuff like that, what is if someone came to you and said, "My kid is going through this," like give them a speech of what to do, like how to go about it, like what steps to take.
First of all, I tell him to give it to God, number one. And then I tell him to hug him as tight as I could and say, I understand where you're at. Educate yourself. Get online and educate yourself. And here's my number. If you ever need anything, give me a holler. I'll be just a phone call away or a text away. You just got to be there for everybody. I mean, some people don't have anybody. Some people's out here doing this all by themselves, and that should never be. I can't imagine doing it by myself. Lots of mamas having to deal with this stuff with their kids and no one for them to lean on. It'd be tough. And I mean, that would be my my answer to that.
What is the thing you would tell people to stay away from or not do?
Not do. Listen to people who are giving you advice on what they learned off the internet. Because if you run into 10 different people, they're going to give you 20 different solutions to your problem. So, yeah.
That's good advice for anybody, I feel like.
That is absolutely true. All right, ladies, thank you very much for coming on. It is a pleasure
Thank
to
you.
finally meet you and
Same
Rosie.
here.
Good to see you again too.
Same here.
I'm here.
Even if you are annoying.
By the way, I think Mama's gonna come back, just for the audience to know. She'll be back at some point.
Yeah.
Yes. We are
We'll
going
be
to have
talking again.
Yes, we are going to have you back so we can actually learn more about you and how your life without Rosie for the most part until she comes along
Yeah.
the way.
Jump back to the late
but
60s and 70s.
yes, but I mean, as and in true fashion, Rosie will be the guest host. She will be
Good.
returning for that factor, and then who knows? We got the 100th episode inching along the way, so we might see we might
Right?
see a cameo there too. So
Nice.
all right,
Well, this has been
ladies, you
fun.
guys have,
It's been fun.
Well,
This is
Thank
great.
you.
Thank you.
thank
Thank you guys for watching.
I appreciate it, and thanks for allowing me to learn more about the importance of having a great mom at your side.
Yeah.
I know I'm blessed with having a great mom, and seeing it firsthand that Rosie's had a great mom and a great role model is very
Thank you.
heartwarming and a blessing.
I'm very
from God.
lucky.
So,
Thank
all right,
I wouldn't
thanks
be
again,
who
ladies.
I am without her.
Thank you. Talk to you later.
What's up, guys? In Your Head with Shannon Stanford is a podcast where Shannon talks to everyday people with everyday problems. Everyone has a story, and every story should be told. So you listen right now to Shannon's podcast on Spotify and many other places, y'all. Come on, man. Be the light. Peace.
Well, I want to thank Juanita and Rosie for coming back on the show. It was an amazing conversation. I enjoyed talking with Juanita. I think she did a great job for her first time ever doing anything in this form. It was a great, amazing job. Just hearing her side of what it's like to be a parent on the opposite end, because we all will look at the person that is sick. Sometimes we forget about the people that are taking care of them. So my hat's off to Juanita for just being an amazing mom and just taking the ball and advocating for her child and not letting it go until there was answers. And the fact that she keeps pushing and she keeps a great relationship with Rosie. They truly are a great mother-daughter combo. One of the best I've ever seen. So I'm really happy for everybody there. So I just want to say before I end the show, it's been an amazing run. I will say I was able to be a guest on another podcast, so look for me at some point whenever it gets released. I was a guest on a new buddy's podcast called Soul Impact: How Music Saved Us. We discussed my relationship with music and how music helped me. It was a great conversation. I even had him come on the show, which his episode will be next week. So we are inching further and further closer to the 100th episode. I'm looking forward to that. So whenever we get closer, once we hit 99, I'm going to take a little bit of break, and I'm going to try to cultivate what I want the 100th episode to be. I've got so many ideas. I just got to filter out the good and the bad, So thank you guys. Be well, be humble, be mindful, be present. I'm thankful for all of you. I'm thankful for all the views. I'm thankful for your presence. Thank you for being here. Thank you for letting me be in your head, because at the end of the day, we are all just meant for, we're all meant for more. You're meant for more, but you're also doing a great job. Don't ever forget that. You're doing an amazing job, and I love you, and thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I don't care about the views. I know there's been some videos out there that have had crazy views, and there's been some that, been slept on. But this show is about the one. If you're watching this, you're the one. Thank you very much.